Hello guys, welcome to episode 2 of Whiskey Wednesdays. So I've got a special guest on with me today, Mr. Elliott Langridge. He's just nipped to the little boy's room. So here he is. How are you, mate? How are you?
I'm alright. Hey.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
There you go. So, Elliott, we're going to talk about firstly your first film. Well, it's not your first film, but your most recent movie that's coming out, Habit.
Yeah.
And it's coming out on the 29th of June.
Yeah.
Cinemas nationwide.
I think so, yeah. I believe so, yeah.
Okay, right. Well, we've got a few people tuned in now. So this is Elliott. First film's coming out on 29th of June. Habit, cinemas nationwide. So tell us about it, Elliott. Tell them.
Habit is it's based on a book. It's a cult novel called Habit, same title.
Yeah.
And it's basically, without giving away the major plot points, it's basically about a young guy struggling. He's on the dole and he ends up meeting this girl and she's like, I can get you a job.
Yeah.
So he basically ends up working on the door at this kind of seedy massage parlour. And it's basically about this kind of dark underground life of Manchester, really, in this side that you don't necessarily see.
Is that where it's set, Manchester?
Yeah, it's set in Manchester, so I was doing a northern accent and stuff. But I mean, and this film was really last minute for me. I basically, I was waiting for the next job. I was going to auditions of doing, what we do. Yeah. And then I got a call from my agent, and they basically said, "There's this film. Basically the lead is pulled out last minute. Wow. Do you reckon you could sort of?" They didn't tell me how soon it was at the time. Yeah. They were like, read the script, get back to us at 4 o'clock. I was like, okay, cool. Read it. I was like, it's really cool. I've never done anything like this before. Yeah. They were like, okay, do you want to do it? I was like, when does it start? And they were like, well, basically you need to get on the train up to Manchester tomorrow morning. This was on the Friday. Yeah. Start shooting on the Sunday. Yeah. And this was the lead in the film. So I was like, I'm one of these guys. I know you're the same. You want to prep. You want to prepare. You want to make sure that you're, doing your best job. So it was scary, but did it and turned out well. And it great team. And I was really excited to work with Jessica Barden as well, which you guys might know from The End of the Fucking World.
Is that the new Netflix show?
Yeah.
What's it? The End of the Effing World, guys. It's blown up on Netflix, hasn't it? It's like it is. I've seen it. It's very, very good. And was she the lead opposite you?
Yeah.
And what's her name again?
Jessica Barden.
Jessica Barden's the lead in a Netflix show called The End of the Effing World, and she stars opposite Elliott in this film. Cool, man. Cool. So, this is a prime example of you never know, guys, when that opportunity is going to come your way. So luck basically is where opportunity meets preparation. So tell us about your prep for that then. You literally just had to, you were on a train with a script in your hand and that was your prep time, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, as I said before, I'm always all about, prepping and being ready, but it's kind of nice having been pushed into the situation where I really didn't have the time to prepare, that I could still do it. Yeah. So it was really nerve-wracking, and it was something where my agent said, well, are you willing to do this? Do you think you can pull this off? And I said yes, and I was like, yeah, of course I can. I got off the phone thinking, can I? It's one of those things you just got to kind of jump in, I guess, and it was great, and because I'd in Northern Soul, I'd obviously done a Northern accent before, and I was like, I'm happy to do that accent. Yeah. I'm confident with it. Yeah. If I'd had more time, I probably would have done a Mancunian accent. I would have fine-tuned that to make it more honed into where the guy was from, but didn't have the time. I had literally 48 hours max until we started shooting. So
unbelievable. That's a quick. that guys is a really, really quick turnaround. It's unbelievable. And as Elliott mentioned there, his film Northern Soul, that was your first major lead in a movie, right? Mm-hmm. And it's BAFTA nominated. It was up for a BAFTA. Now, I know the story of Elliott's journey into Northern Soul, but I think...
You lived through it, you saw me.
I lived through it, but I think it'd be really interesting for you to tell the guys about, that on, off, leaving jobs because you were so determined and you believed in this project so much, you were turning down jobs. you were skint pretty much, weren't you?
Yeah.
So talk about that, mate.
Yeah, I mean that was my first, not only my first lead in a film, it was my first film. I mean, I had a tiny little part in Harry Potter, but that was, this was really my first proper film.
Yeah.
And so it was nerve-wracking. I'd only done TV before that, but I met the director on it. It was I used to do modelling, believe it or not, when I was like 19, 20.
We believe it, guys. Don't we? Look at the freaking clip of this one.
And so I met her on a modelling job.
Yeah.
And she was a photographer, Elaine Constantine, and she's very well known in the sort of modelling scene and everything else. But this was her first film as well. And I met her, and she was like, "Oh, you look like John Clark." And I didn't know what she was talking about. And she explained, she was like, I've been writing this film. She's been writing it at that point for, I believe, 10 years.
Wow.
So, it just shows you how long it takes to get something made, get something, off the ground. And I was like, okay, great. You kind of, in this industry, you hear a lot of people say things and you can't always believe what they say, or, you have to kind of take it and pinch of salt with it, really. So I was like, oh, okay. I was 19 at the time. I kind of was like, oh, great. Didn't hear anything. It was a year later. We'd exchanged details. I'd almost forgotten about it, really. I was still auditioning and
1 year, guys. This is how long. Keep going. Keep going. 1 year.
A year later, I got an email saying, "Sorry, it's taking me so long. Finish the script. If you want to read it, here it is." And I was like, "Oh wow, she's remembered me. That's amazing." She basically said, "Oh, I want you to read it as soon as you can, and then come meet me at mine." So I read it as fast as I could, which wasn't very fast because I'm dyslexic, so it takes me forever to read anything. And it was amazing. I mean, I read it and I thought, this is too good to be true.
It's such a good film, guys. So where can people see it?
It's in Netflix in America. I don't think it's Netflix here.
Okay.
But you can watch it. I believe it's on Sky, and you can obviously buy the DVD, the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
It's on Film 4 every now and then as well.
I recommend it, even if you're not an actor or in this industry at all. For a great film in general, it's a really, really good film. So carry on. So it was get your whiskey, lad. What are you doing? Don't make me drink solo.
So it was a long ride, and then basically, I was kind of like trying to get the accent right, and truth be told, it was bad. My accent was terrible at first, I believe it got better. I think I had an acting coach that was trying to help me through, and I remember Elaine, the director, said at the time, she was like, "Yeah, I didn't tell you this straight away, but the guy that was meant to be my sort of voice coach and trying to help me through it, he turned to her after my first session and went, he's never gonna get it. He won't get this accent.
Wow,
he's not the guy for this part." Didn't find this out until a long time later, but so it took me time, but I got there, and I think that's what it's like with anything. Same me and you, we always want a bit of time to just get it right. I hate going into things unprepared. I'll do it, but the best way is to be prepared. This is an example where it's a little bit too much preparation. Because I met Elaine when I was 19. We ended up shooting the film eventually in 2012. I was 25. So it took 6 years.
Did you hear that?
Point of meeting her.
That's nuts. So 19, you were offered this job, and you didn't step on set till you were 25.
No.
That's the journey, guys. Do you know when I talk about things taking time, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. This is a prime example of keeping the faith, staying the course, and being in the game. And just before we continue, guys, if you've got any questions and stuff, because obviously I don't want to interrupt Elliott when he's telling these awesome stories, so just copy and paste your questions, and every now and again I'll look up and I'll have a look, and if there's anything on there that you want to ask Elliott or myself, but mainly Elliott, because it's about him today, you hear enough from me. You want to get as much as you can out of this man whilst he's here. And we'll chat about it. But so 6 years, dude.
6 years, and I was at the start of my career. I'd been acting for like maybe a year at that point. And so, it was a very long journey, and I got other little jobs in between, and then I ended up getting Hollyoaks, where I met Stephen here. And at the time, the director of Northern Soul was like, don't do it. Don't do Hollyoaks because we're going to be filming soon. But in
No.
hindsight, we literally knew
Yeah.
that, well, we thought we were going to be, but
Yeah.
it turned out that we weren't. But I took Hollyoaks because I wanted the experience. Like, at the time, I just hadn't done enough. I hadn't done anything, and I felt like Northern Soul, I just didn't know if I was capable of doing it. And I needed to prove myself in other ways and do other jobs.
But
so.
isn't Oaks a great training ground? Wasn't it an
really
incredible
is.
job?
It is, yeah.
Like, me and you owe a lot to that place, right?
100%.
And a lot of young actors do. Not just young actors, like brand new actors. But yeah, so you decided to do Hollyoaks, and then...
Yeah, I and also on that note as well, a friend of mine recently got a part. I'm not going to say who it is because I don't know if we're allowed to say, but he got a part in Hollyoaks, and he messaged me and he was like, you know, he's a little bit older than I was when I went into Hollyoaks, and he was like, is it a good idea? Because there is a certain stigma in certain circles about doing a soap or something like Hollyoaks. But honestly, one of the best jobs I've ever done, one of the funnest times of
Well,
my
you've got
career.
to meet me.
I wouldn't be here right now.
That's it. Hey, it's Ashley. Hey, mate.
Alright, lads.
Alright, pal.
And him.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have met him.
Ashley, yeah, he was on the show with us. He's doing great things now. Ashley, I'll have you on here soon. I'll have you on here, mate.
Ashley's obviously, he's in Northern Soul as well.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's not Taylor Dawson, mate.
Is it not?
It's my goal.
Oh, shit, sorry.
The other Ashley, just ignore him, Ash.
Sorry.
But yeah, so carry on. The Northern Soul I want to talk about, mate, because you did what I did in Abe. You lost a stupid amount of weight to do that. And if you Google the pictures of Elliott and Northern Soul, it's pretty frightening. But the difference is, mine was a 2-year journey, so I could handle that. This dude was put under the gun. He was on and off. The project's on. No, we've lost the funding. No, the project's on. No, we've lost it. So he maintained this, this starvation mode on and off for 6 years, guys. Now that just goes to show discipline and determination. It is freaking insane.
I think it also shows stupidity because I think now I would be like, okay, hold off until I know 100%.
Yeah.
But I was like in.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm doing this stuff.
I'd say, definitely not necessarily stupidity, but naivety.
Yeah, 100%.
Naivety. But yeah, I'm just keeping that naivety. But talk us through the pain of that, because it all turned out rainbows and golden whistles, because the film's incredible. We had the privilege, I did, Elliott invited me over to, I was living in LA at the time, we got to watch a private screening at CAA, which is one of the big agencies, so yeah.
I was lucky because you were like the only people that turned up, because it was like a religious holiday, I think.
Yeah, it was, and it's full of Jews, isn't it? Like,
no one was there.
No one
was
was there.
me, Steve, and Ashanti, wasn't it? That was it.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe it's such an amazing film. What kept you focused for so long? There you go, Northern Soul. There's the question.
I think it was partly naivety, because I was like, do this film and I'll be doing loads of work, and I wanted to prove myself as an actor. So much.
Passionate.
And like at Hollyoaks, that was great. It was great fun. But this part was the first time I'd really got to play someone that wasn't me.
Yeah.
And having to do an accent and lose the weight, grow the hair, and like it just seemed like I felt like Robert De Niro. You know what I mean? I wanted to do that. I wanted to go in on it.
Yeah.
But the naivety, obviously, I think it was. It was kind of a good thing, because if I knew what I knew now, I'd be more hesitant and maybe would have moved on to something else.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that I was stupid enough to believe in myself and think that I was going to do it, because really now you get doubts because you kind of experience more things like that. Whereas then I was just like, I'm in. I'm 100% in, and I have to remember that now. And be like, no, it worked out in the end.
Yeah.
And you've got to keep pushing.
So that's what kept you focused.
Yeah. Just basically just thinking the end product, thinking that's where I want to be.
Yeah.
And it's like with I always I'm a big fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I watch his videos, and he's always like, you imagine what you're gonna be, and you will be that. You've just got to keep that image clear. You've got to keep going, and it's difficult at times, but it's that's an understatement. It's horrendous.
It's horrendous.
At times,
if what your mind believes, you will achieve. But again, 6 years in the making. Someone asked a question, but I can't see it. If you remember, guys, because if you've got a really a burning question to ask, copy and paste it and just keep reposting it, and we'll get to it eventually. So that's what kept you disciplined and focused for so long with Northern Soul. And you've done, I mean, that was your first film. You've done Hollyoaks before that, but then you've done Beautiful Devils, correct? And that was Beautiful Devils, guys, was the adaptation of Othello, right?
Yeah.
And you played Iago.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So that I mean, going on from Northern Soul, that character from that was kind of this insecure, kind of young. He's meant to be like 17 at the beginning of the film, and he's just like insecure, sort of insular. It doesn't really, he's really held back. So getting the opportunity to play Iago in Othello is like, obviously he's one of the, I think personally, one of the best villains ever committed to the script. Like, incredible to get, and I had to really prove myself to the casting director. Funnily enough, same casting director as Northern Soul, but I wasn't cast by him because I was cast a long time before the casting director came on board. So for me, I kept on going for auditions with Manny and trying to prove myself. Be like, no, I know you didn't cast me in Northern Soul, but I'm good. I can do other things. And trying to, and I'd already been for several films with him, and I was thinking, I never get close. And then that one, I remember going into the room thinking, this is such a different role. Yeah, I want this role, and I think it was the first thing since Northern Soul where I was like, oh, I want to get this so bad, and so pleased when I got it, because I got to just play absolute, like, the most hideous character, and actually got to play a few more like that now, because I think people, they always see you as your last role. They kind of want to cast you as that. Well,
that links into Ted's question, which is, from your past experiences, what roles do you go for now?
Well, as I say, from Northern Soul, I was always wanting to do something different from that, because I got cast as a Northerner quite a few times after that, and I've always wanted to, watch Tom Hardy and Bronson, or part where you're like, that is nothing like me. I want to play a hard nut with a shaved head, and like go, and put some weight on and do, go mental. But so the couple of films that haven't come out yet, I've played that sort of character, and there's one called We the Kings, which hopefully is coming out later this year, where I play a guy that's basically put in juvie. Again, I'm playing very young, a lot of makeup. He's put in juvie because he basically ends up killing a guy to get revenge on basically a mate of his that was abused as a child. Right. It's a really dark film, but I think it's really good. It's really powerful. Yeah. But that character was, again, something totally like different to what I've played before, totally different to me, and I really enjoy that, and having a different haircut, having different facial hair, the costumes and all these things, makeup or whatever, it just really helps you, I think, to sort of transform yourself.
It's that's what we aim for as artists. We want it to be difficult. We don't want to play ourselves. It's great when you get that, and it's beautiful because essentially you take yourself into every role, right? There has to be that essence of you in every single character you play. But then to put on the weight, or to lose the weight, to shave the hair, to have scars, it's just a beauty. That's why we do it. You're doing something different every single time. Now what I want to do, Elliot, is I want to reverse it right the way back. If we got a couple of questions, James, what's the overall ambition for you? That's a good question.
Overall ambition for me.
Hello, Linda.
I mean, I'm just really thankful and lucky to be working in the industry and to still be here. Yeah. I've been doing it 11 years now, and I've surpassed. I thought I was going to trip over the first hurdle and be out within a couple of years, but as you know, it's very difficult when there are really hard times. Like after Northern Soul, because I waited so long for that film and I really was passionate about it. I didn't work for 2 years after that film. Wait a sec, they need to hear that. So, guys, this is the reality of the game, and this is what you need. 6 years he waited to make this film, Northern Soul, which is absolutely brilliant, by the way. I'm not just saying it. It's great. And then after Northern Soul, his first major lead in a BAFTA-nominated film, he didn't work for 2 years.
Tell us what that was like, mate. They need to hear it. They need to hear it. Wait a sec, have we got a question? You're a brilliant actor, Elliot. That's from Linda.
Thank you.
Yeah, so tell them about that, mate, because they need to hear this. It's not all bells and whistles, guys. The struggle is the most important thing. If you're willing to struggle, you're going to grow, and through that growth, you will eventually win. This 6 years of struggling, booked a lead, smashed it out the park. Now another 2 years in the wilderness.
Yeah, so we did the film, and obviously it takes a while for a film to come out, and it took, with this one, it took 2.5 years. So, you know, obviously you film it in 2012, it gets released halfway to, it was like 2014, and then America it went 2015. So people, you know, I was telling people in auditions what I'd done, they're like, oh great, yeah. Not heard of this film. Who's in it? And like, you know, so it's as if you haven't done anything. So I think I did, within, I think it was 2 years later, I did an episode of Vera.
Yeah.
And like, I was thinking, God, I can't...
The Geordie Show, Vera.
Brenda Blethyn,
Yeah.
And I was just like, I can't believe it's taken me this long to get another job after this.
Yeah.
But then obviously Northern Soul came out, and things did change for me. I got more films, and now I only really do films. That's what I do, and that's what I've always wanted to do. So that's great.
Cheers to that, brother.
Thank you. And but it really was. There was that gap, and it was really difficult. I like, because for that Northern Soul, I was 11 stone.
Yeah.
I lost 2 stone, so I was actually down to just under 9 stone.
Yeah. I put a picture of that, a still of you in the show, on the Facebook and Instagram. So if you want to see it, or you can just Google it. Just Google him and it's there. It's brilliant, Denise. Oh, they talk amongst yourself, guys. I love that. This is an interactive show. This is what we do. But remember, you got any questions that you really want to ask, because the feed goes up and down, just keep copy and pasting it. I'll get to it ASAP. So you start getting offering these roles. So what was the first one after Northern Soul?
The first film after Northern Soul was Let's Be Evil.
And that was 2.5 years?
I think that was, about 2.5 years later.
Yeah.
And that was, no, it must have been at least that, actually. I think it was about 3 years, because the director, Martin Owen, who I've just done a film with recently, actually, another film called Killers Anonymous, which I'm really excited about.
Looks awesome. I was on set, guys. It looks sick.
And he went into HMV to get a few DVDs. He was casting Let's Be Evil at the time, and this is the story he told me. He basically went in there to, you know, there was a certain actor, I won't say who it is, that he was thinking of for the role of Darby, and he went and he bought the guy's new film, and he was going to watch it, and while he was there, he saw Northern Soul had just come out on DVD, so it must have been at least 3 years later, after the film, you know, after we made the film. And he saw it, and he was like, oh, I'm just going to pick that up because I want to see it anyway, and heard good things. And he ended up watching the film the other guy was in, and he was like, oh, okay. And then he watched Northern Soul, but just to watch it. And he saw me in that, even though it was a completely different role. I play an American in Let's Be Evil, and I play a kind of like a cool, laid-back character, a bit of a you know, cheeky, you know. So a different character, but he watched that, and he saw something in me, and he believed that I could play this part, which was really nice. And it was the first time I was ever offered a role without an audition. And for me, I'm terrible in auditions. I don't know about you, but like the nerves get to me.
I'm getting better. It's taken 12, 13 years.
Yeah.
I'm getting better. I'm getting more, but it's a different animal, right?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that on another show, but. Yeah, auditions for every actor. I don't know any actor who enjoys auditioning. No. But so Let's Be Evil was the first one.
It was the first one that I got. It was the first film I got, and since Northern Soul, and Martin we just had a chat. Yeah. And it was really nice to just sit there and bounce back ideas. Yeah. And just have like a really like nice conversation about it. And I thought, this is it now.
Equal.
Yeah, and I was like, this is great. We get to like, you know, do that. But, you know, and then after that, you know, more auditions. It's got a little bit easier since Northern Soul, but it's still really difficult. And there's always that next step to take. And when you got to another step, it's even harder. Yeah. And then there's the competition's even greater. Yeah. You've just got to keep going, really. And it was nice to get that first film under the belt after Northern Soul, though, and to play an American for the first time as well. That's awesome. And meeting Martin was great, because he's he's literally my Scorsese. He's really pulled me under his wing, and he's been like almost writing parts for me, which I'm very thankful for.
That's incredible.
So, he's wicked, and we're really good mates now. So more than anything, we're just good mates. So
that's
we
testament
enjoy
to
working
dedication,
together.
though. This is what I say, guys. Right? Not taking it, Elliott. When you watch his work, you're gonna think incredibly talented. But, and he'll agree with me here. It's not talent. It's hard work and dedication. It's commitment. This boy, again, 6 years prepping for a role. Who does that? People who end up on big TV shows, that's who do that. But there was an incredible question that came in, mate. From Danielle. How did you manage mentally for 2 years with no income, as bills obviously need paying?
Yeah,
that's an awesome question. Yeah, that's a great people because this is what happens. A lot of people, mate, and you know this, they give up on their dreams because reality kicks in. They have to. Yeah. They have children. They've got to get married. They've got to get mortgages. They've got to pay the bills. So how the hell do you like? They know my story. They know that I coach and I do all this crazy stuff, but everyone's journey is different. Tell them how do you cope when it's those lean times?
I mean, for me, is like when I got Hollyoaks, that's obviously a really nice income, and it's really rare to have a regular job like that as an actor, and that was amazing. Yeah. And luckily, I used my head and I saved that money.
I didn't. I was so stupid. Carry on.
Hindsight is a great thing, because I would have saved more, to be fair. But I managed to save enough to get a mortgage on a flat. So I did that, and then basically, being the miser that I rented out the rooms. Yeah. So then I ended up getting that covered my mortgage. So that gave me the freedom to be able to go off and do auditions and things like that. And I still, especially in between Northern Soul and the next film, those 2 years I had to do every job under the sun. And
what was the worst one?
Jobs,
what was the worst one? Tell them.
One of them tipped me over the edge. Yeah. And I had my mate who I've known from school. Bless him. He was like, "Oh, I've got a job you can come and do." And like he's basically a builder. He'd been working on all these different sites and stuff. But he had this particularly hideous job for me, which was basically in a site near Woking. It was cleaning the porta cabins after the builders had used them, and just doing that all day, just scrubbing and with a hose and stuff. That's how bad.
So you're off curries forever then, right? Bloody hell. Hey Karen, hello. Hey Linda, you two are such love. Thanks, Linda. So,
and that's after doing Northern Soul. That was, and I managed to get a mortgage, and everything was going really well. And then there was just this 2-year gap, and you're like, what do I do? And to be honest, I really struggled. And I think as well, having lost, because I had to sort of keep that weight off when I was waiting for the film, because I didn't know. Even when we were doing Hollyoaks, I was starting to lose weight to get ready for it.
I remember.
And I was growing my hair, and the continuity. I think we need to cut you out. And I was like, no. And by the end, I had this huge mullet, and they look at me like, your hair's. And so I managed to get away with that. But so I mean, that gap was horrible. Yeah. And I did, I mean, we were going to talk about, it's very important to talk about mental health.
Oh, we're going to get into that.
After that, it was the weight loss, I think. It affected me. I went to the doctors, and the doctor was like, you know what, if you have something extreme happen to you in terms of, your weight, or you change something about the way you live day to day. And I was under 9 stone for a good 6 months, and then I'd be going on and off that way.
Unbelievable.
And my stomach was just in pieces. I couldn't eat, because I didn't eat carbs for almost half a year, because I was trying to keep it. I was running every day. Yeah. So that combination of not really eating carbs but running a lot, when I started going back to eating normal things once the film was done, I was throwing up. My stomach was about this big. I couldn't eat carbs for ages. My stomach didn't know how to digest them.
Yeah.
And that was horrendous. And it got me. I got really, really low at that point. And I was going to auditions, and I was struggling to put the weight back on.
Yeah.
And I'd go into auditions, and they'd look at me, and I think they thought I was just doing loads of drugs.
Yeah.
Because I was gaunt, and I was like, and it was a very difficult time, but slowly but surely got back into being a normal weight, and now my stomach's fine, which is nice, because it took a while, man. It's very dangerous doing something like that when you haven't had medical help or some sort of guidance by someone that knows what they're doing. I just went, I'm not going to eat.
Yeah.
And that was not a good idea. No. I'd never recommend that to anyone.
Yeah,
but you look great.
You look the part, that's it. But we've got to cut. Linda said your dancing in Northern Soul was awesome. We're going to talk about that.
Thank you.
A quick one from James. Good old James from Middlesbrough, one of my pals. He's saying, what's your hardest accent at the moment?
Hardest
to
nail.
Yeah.
I don't know. At the moment, I don't even really want to say what it is, because I don't.
Because you don't want people to watch your next film that you're doing.
I can do any accent. No. There's a film that I'm really hoping to do, and I'm really excited about it, but nothing's confirmed yet. And there is an accent I'm working on at the moment, which has got a lot better. But to be honest, any accent, if I haven't done it before, it's really difficult.
Indian, go.
I just end
Thank you very much. Really
stereotypical. I sound like a poo from
from Simpsons. No, messing.
And then I go Welsh.
Yeah. Mate, there's another great question there. Well, it wasn't a question. It was I think it was Linda said that your dancing in Northern Soul was all. Guys, the film Northern Soul is about that. Was it the 70s?
Yeah, so it's. I think it's. I'm trying to think when it starts. I think it's 1973 to 1976. Something like that. I mean, it's obviously set before Wigan Casino burned down.
But it was a movement, right?
It's huge movement. The movement was before that, but the film was actually set sort of mid-70s. Okay. But the movement went on for quite a long time, and then kind of it's still going today, and it's actually had a bit of a resurgence. But in the 80s, it kind of had a dip, but now it's on the way up again. And
you'd never danced before Northern Soul?
No, right? Never.
So tell them about the rehearsal, because honestly, guys, if you haven't seen the film, you would never have a clue. He's like, it's one of the most special things about the film. The dancing, that culture, Northern Soul, the freaking love the bopping about. And there's some scenes where Elliott's freaking giving it hell for leather, and it's like he's been doing it all his life. So what was the rehearsals like? How did you learn that and make it look as though you've been doing it all your freaking life?
I did it for a long time to try and get, because obviously the fans of Northern Soul are very passionate, and they want to see it done right. Fair enough, and fair play. So I wanted to do that. I wanted to make it as realistic and as close to the real thing as possible. And Elaine, the director, basically she hooked me up with a guy called Kev Darge. We had a whole group of dance lessons with different teachers towards like the actual filming of the film. But the first teacher I had was Kev Darge, who's a legend in the scene. Absolute lunatic, but I love him. He's great. Yeah. But he's kind of he's a guy that lived through the scene. He knows everything about it. He's also a martial arts nut, so he kind of integrated the martial arts with the dance and everything else, which is kind of where it came from originally. So it was great to meet him, but he put me through my paces. The first time I met him, Elaine was like, I'm just going to warn you, he's a lot. And we went in there, and he basically he's this Scottish guy, and really like looks wide, skinhead. Really he's built like a panther. Right. He's like solid muscle.
A panther.
He's like a cat. You know what I mean? He's got really smooth moves. Yeah. And the first thing he said to me, he went, "Go on."
What? Go on.
And I was like,
what?
Well, he's like, "Give me your best moves." And I was
Give me your best moves. I'd be like,
"Oh mate, here we go, Saturday Night Fever."
Yeah.
And so I did whatever it was I did, which was horrendous. And he went, "Okay, no, you're shy. Let's start from the beginning." And then so from there on, it was like he was literally cracking the whip. And he'd make me do press-ups before we were doing the dance to get me pumped up.
Get you psyched up,
And it was absolutely horrendous, but at the same time, that's exactly what I needed. I needed someone to tell me that I was terrible, that I was never going to be good enough, and that I needed to get better.
So you work with negative affirmations. You're rubbish. Do it again.
Yeah, like you won't do this. You won't succeed. And I'm like, no,
I will. Good. See,
I will.
That's it.
So yeah, I mean, and because we had lots of time, I went off and did Hollyoaks. I came back, and we had time to do it. Originally, we thought we were going to have a short space of time, so it was over a period of years. I would go every couple of weeks.
Wow, and just then train. How long were the training sessions per session?
A couple of hours.
All right.
And then it got more intense as the film came closer to it. We were, I'd sleep at Kev's and just do it all day.
God.
Get it, and he'd put me in this stretching contraption that would spread your legs apart, and you'd have to crank it to make because by the time I did the film, I could do the box splits. I could
It was nuts, guys. You have to watch this film, guys. I haven't seen The Habit yet because it hasn't come out. But Northern Soul I have seen, and I don't recommend or endorse anything unless I really think it's incredible. He's like the lad sitting next to me right now. Is unrecognizable. You are not going to. You won't freaking believe it, dude. Go and watch that freaking film. Carry on.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a long old road, really. But yeah, I weirdly, sadistically enjoyed it. It was absolute torture, and when you finally got it, it was like, even if it was just a little thing, I've cracked that now. And then, but the funny thing is, before we started shooting, it was about 2 weeks before filming, and I didn't want to risk losing the role in any way. I didn't want anything to get in the way of that, and I ended up breaking my wrist, my hand, and part of my hand, a couple of my fingers.
How?
It depends. Do you want the story that I told the producers, or do you want the actual story?
Right. No, because this is our audience. Tell the actors. tell the blag how you saved the job, and then tell the truth.
So
because we're all about the truth.
Yeah.
All about the truth.
So yeah, basically, I 2 weeks before filming, I was really thin. I was ready for the part. This huge mullet. I looked like I was on drugs because I was so thin. And I went on a night out, and I, at the time, couldn't take alcohol because I was so thin.
Yeah.
I'd have one drink and I'd
be like that. Yeah.
I ended up getting chucked out of a club by these bouncers. They basically threw me down these stairs, and I just mangled my hand on the way down. Didn't tell anyone. Yeah. No one knew that I'd broken it. I had a cast on it.
Is this what you call it? An exclusive?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it's an exclusive, guys. That's the truth of how he broke his hand.
And so I ended up, I was still auditioning at the time. I'd go into an audition, and I remember it was starting to heal a bit.
Yeah.
It was like a week later, I was thinking, it feels a bit better. I was like, I can't go into a dance lesson with this on, so I had to cut the thing off. And I was meant to keep it on for 6 weeks.
Wait a sec, you cut the cast off?
Yeah, I cut the cast off.
And it's meant to be on for 6 weeks?
Couldn't let them know that it was broken. But I went into an audition, and this guy came up to me and went, "Nice to meet you." And I swear to God, the hardest handshake. And my hand, I felt it just go. Oh. And I was like nearly threw up because I felt it break again.
Oh no.
And I was just like, oh. Didn't get that job, obviously.
Oh my God.
I went to the dance lessons like this. And I wasn't, but the thing was, we learnt to do all these like flips and handstands and all these things. And even in the film, I couldn't do it because I just couldn't put weight on this hand. So it was a real shame though, because a lot of the training had revolved around me doing some of these tricks that I never got to show, which now I'll never be able to do again.
Because oh my God,
I haven't got the flexibility to do it now. But there's videos from training of me doing it.
Yeah.
But we never got to use it in the film, which is unfortunate. Halfway through filming, I admitted that I'd broken my hand. But by that time,
it didn't matter. Too much in the can. Then they can't get rid of the actor. But so this is incredible. Is that a Brill actor, Elliott? Love the dancing in Northern Soul.
Thanks, mate.
What I want to do is I want to go right the way back to the beginning of your career, because basically me and Elliott, we come from similar backgrounds in terms of our upbringing, but our journeys towards becoming actors very, very different. Mine, as you guys know, was I'm from Middlesbrough. I didn't have a Scooby-Doo how to get into this industry. I thought that I had to go to drama college, and that was the way to get into the industry. So I trained professionally. Doesn't mean anything, and this is why I wanted Elliott on here. Well, not just the only reason, but a main reason why I want you guys to understand that you don't need to go to an expensive school, a drama college, or anything like that to become... To get into our industry, or you don't need to go to an MBA college, or unless it's law or medicine that you're studying, you don't need to go to university. I'm telling you, you need to work your ass off, but you don't need to do it. Elliott didn't train in terms of going to a school at all. So tell these guys how you got into the industry, your journey, and how you, even though you didn't go to a college per se, you still worked on your craft day in, day out, because that's what you do, you love it.
Yeah.
So
I was always really into it, obviously at school and things like that. I was always doing the plays and really enjoyed it, but never really thought that seriously it could be something I would do professionally and actually, earn money from it. It never really occurred to me. But my parents, my dad is a cinematographer and my mum is a makeup artist, so I was always interested because with them I'd always had the chance to go on set and to see what they do, and I remember when I was younger I remember saying to my dad, I don't know how old I was, I think I was under 10 years old, I'd be like, Dad, I want to be a makeup artist like Mum, and he was just gutted that I didn't want to be a cameraman. Yeah. He was just like, you don't want to work with the camera, no. So I always had it in my mind that I would do something on set, and I was always interested in camera as well. And when I came out of college, I ended up starting to sort of apply for trying to get a running job or any a real dog's body job, job.
Explain to them what a running job is, because they won't know what that means.
So on a film or TV, you get runners that basically you've got all the different sections of the film. So you've got the camera crew, you've got the
electrician,
makeup, you've got the sparks, everything else. But the runners basically they hold all that together. Yeah. Really, and it's a job. It's a good way to get into the industry. So if you start as a runner, you can decide what section of the unit of the crew you want to be in. Yeah. And so I applied for a load of jobs, trying to find something to do, and then basically one of my mum's friends, he's a focus puller, Kim.
Focus puller, what's that?
A focus puller is basically the guy that focuses the camera on film. So he was the focus puller on Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, and he'd been working steadily. He was also friends with my dad in the industry, and she'd mentioned it to him that I was trying to get, and I'd applied for certain things, and I was going to go off and do. I can't remember what it was now. There was a TV job that I'd got, and he was like, Elliott could come on and do a week on Harry Potter, and he could basically be our camera bitch, basically, make the coffees for us and things like that. And I was just like, because I'd been trying to reach out and see how I could do this. And I was like, amazing, I'd love to do that, obviously, I did it, incredible. Yeah. So I ended up going on to, it was Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. And for me, I'm a massive film buff, I love films.
That's what we do, mate.
And being on, walking onto that's still to this day the biggest films that I've ever been on. Yeah. And going on there and seeing, Michael Gambon and Gary Oldman and all these people doing
legends.
Just being like, this is amazing, it's incredible. So I was there for a week, and I kind of was thinking, no, I don't want this to end. I don't want this to be just a week. So I really, really grafted and worked at trying to sort of show that, because of my dad, I had some form of structure, and I knew a bit about camera, about the lenses and stuff like that. So I ended up kind of trying to sneak in and be like, I could, come and help you with the lens and everything else, and talking to the right people and things like that. So I ended up staying on for most of basically the entirety of the film. Yeah. Ended up doing a couple of months on it. And I think the reason they kept me on is because I was like, I'll do it for free, I don't care. You know what I mean? And
that's passion, guys. That's when you love something.
And it ended up costing me loads because I had to get the train every day and all this stuff. Wow. And luckily my uncle let me stay in central London with him, so I ended up not having a longer journey. But it was just I just wanted to be there. Yeah. I didn't care how much it cost me, and I just wanted to do it. Meanwhile, working another job at the same time at Waitrose, doing the night shift.
Waitrose night shift, guys.
And so, like, that was paying for my train tickets and stuff. And then even that, like, you know, my parents would be like, oh, you know, they'd help me as well. So they were always on, you know, behind me and helping me. Because without them, they've been very, very supportive and understanding of this. Because, I mean, at the beginning, I wasn't making any money. I was losing my money just, like, going out of my pockets. So I was very fortunate that they would help me out as well, because, you know, these little jobs you get in between sometimes just can't be enough, and so I'm very lucky at that. But yeah, so I basically got to work on that, and ended up being on there for a couple of months, meeting, you know, so many amazing people, and getting, and basically there was a guy that was doing the behind the scenes footage for the film, and I got chatted to him, and you know, I'd been telling people it was, you know, I was like, I want to be an actor, really. Yeah. I want to be in front of the camera, and I was telling Daniel Radcliffe, I was like, mate, I want to be an actor. You know, it's kind of like,
and he's 12 going.
He's going, yeah, all right. Anyone that would listen, like, to try and sort of get some sort of foot in the door. Yeah. And it paid off, and then basically this guy, he was like, well, I know this agent. Maybe you could give him a call and see what you think. And so I won't say who the agent is now, because I'm not with them anymore. But they basically, I had a meeting with them, and there was the younger agent, the associate, that basically the one that was like, oh, you know, my mate Paul rang up and, you know, said that, you know, he'd be good, he's got a good look for this, and everything else. And the older agent, who's like been in the industry a while, she just looked at me and went,
oh, one of them,
he just looks like some sort of Hollyoaks boy. Oh, and like the fact she said that, and this was like a couple of years before I got Hollyoaks. And the funny thing was, when I got Hollyoaks, it was for a tiny little part, 1 day shoot, playing a part that was not anything to do with, you know, I wouldn't have been able to play it. But I think it was a guy that was like meant to be really like almost like a bodybuilder. I was going out for this thing. I was like this skinny 19-year-old. I was like, it's not going to happen. But I went in for it, and there was 5 of us lined up. We all had a line each. We said it, and then they went, move on. That was it. But what happened was, I can't remember what I even said. I cracked some joke, and it wasn't really funny, but the producer loved it. I don't know what I said.
He just loved you, man, like that. And
I'd been going for this tiny little part. It was like a 1 episode thing, and then my agent got a call it was a couple of months later, so I totally forgot about it. I was like, I haven't got that part. And I'd done nothing at the time as well. I'd done the Bill and Primeval. I'd done 2 little parts in that. And my agent rang up, and she was almost like hysterically laughing. She couldn't believe it. She was like, they've written you a part on Hollyoaks. You've got a 3-month contract, and then that could go to a 6-month contract if you prove yourself. I was like, what? And I was, at the time, on the way to the BBC to do an audition. And I was, because my mum does the news, she does the makeup of the news, and I was with my mum driving up to the BBC, and I was like, Mum, I just got a call, like, we just got a part in Hollyoaks, and she's like, what? And it was like the most mental thing. So, you know, going from just like, scraping around from something, and saying something that completely forgettable, I don't remember what I said, and then suddenly being like, we've written you this part. Yeah. I mean, that's how crazy this is. You know as well. Like, there's a lot of luck involved. There's a lot of just being in the right place at the right time. But
you have to be in the game, though.
You have to be
that
ready.
luck to happen. You have to be ready.
And I think, because even at Hollyoaks, like, I've always struggled being dyslexic with learning lines, and I know
we need to talk about this properly. So this is a thing, because I know I have a lot of friends who have dyslexia and suffer from it, like, massively. It means nothing if you are willing to embrace it and work well. So Elliott, talk about your show that you've written, which is loosely based on your experience in.
It's quite main. It's actually quite closely based.
So
it's ridiculous.
We've got one question first, and then we'll go into that. So, which actor or actress would you love to work with? That's from Kelly.
There's 2 answers to that. One of them is I said it before. Arnold Schwarzenegger is he is my idol.
That's because you've already worked with Stephen Upward.
I think that's what it is. I mean, that comes from the north.
That's because he's already worked with the Veganator.
I fulfilled my first dream working with Steve on Hollyoaks. So
thank you. I'll pay you later, mate. I'll pay you later.
But yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger has always been, because he's a guy that has not only achieved so much in the acting world, he was a bodybuilder, he's also a politician. He's reached the top of so many different peaks, and I think that is incredible. And a lot of people have, they're like, he's not a great actor. Yeah. I disagree. I think the guy has got something that you just cannot stop watching.
He's got star quality.
Something about him. He's got something that draws you to him. And I've got into meetings with agents, and they've asked me that question, and I've said Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they were like,
"I love Kelly. Kelly, I love you." She's just said, "Steve, you're way better than Arnie. Get in." I'll take his career. I'll take his career any day. But thank you, Kelly. Carry on, mate.
Yeah, so I've gone into meetings and said Arnold as an example, and they've gone, "No, have a different answer."
They expect you to say the typicals, don't they? Like Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. But they're awesome, but it's what he's done. It's what, and Dwayne the Rock
It's what
Johnson,
he's achieved. Same with him.
He's the next one.
I think that if I was going to choose the actor, someone that I watch and I go, that performance, obviously way beyond Arnold Schwarzenegger, but Arnold Schwarzenegger is just entertainment and just everything about him is just. But
some of the most iconic films of all time
as well. Yeah. But no, in terms of acting, like someone that I look at and I go, every film he does, you go, he's so good and he's different and every time he smashes it, and like even when he does a film that isn't that good, he's still incredible. Is Jake Gyllenhaal?
Oh,
the man is a beast.
Yeah, and
he is. Everything. It doesn't matter how small the part is. He doesn't even have to say anything.
Yeah.
Have you seen the film Brothers? Him and Jake Gyllenhaal and Tobey Maguire.
No, but I've seen the scene.
And they're both incredible.
I've seen the scene. I need to see that.
Yeah.
If anyone where can we watch Brothers?
I'm sure it's on Netflix, but it's been out on TV for years. But
that scene where I'm not going to spoil it for you guys at home. It is frightening. I literally on YouTube, guys. This is the obsession when you see something that's so like. I spent, and I'm not even exaggerating here, 3 hours because I couldn't get over what I'd just seen. It was insane, just incredible artistry at its the highest level, and that's what it's all about. You always want to be stretching and growing, and by watching that, I was like, can I do that? I'm not too sure. I need to work harder because I want to be able to do that. Unbelievable. But so Gyllenhaal,
and as well, if you think about, I really enjoyed Southpaw. I know it didn't get a totally good reviews-wise, but, his performance, you watch it and go...
Yeah.
I know that, someone like Leonardo DiCaprio is an amazing actor, and he's done some wicked, Departed and things like that, wicked films. But can you imagine Leonardo DiCaprio playing that part?
No, you can't.
That's why Gyllenhaal... Even people like Leonardo DiCaprio, who he's up here, you go, Gyllenhaal is just that one step higher where he transforms himself, and it's so inspiring to watch.
Yeah. He goes for it. I thought that was another question, but I want to go back because we've got about 10 minutes. I want to go back to Dyslexia, your film that you did on, because depression and mental illness is something that I've spoken about on the show.
Yeah.
And it's something, again, close to you. People need to hear it that everyone has it, do you know what I mean? To a certain degree. So talk about your short film. Talk about Dyslexia and No Hopers. No Hopers, guys, before Elliott starts. Again, you cannot sit and wait around for the world to give you a shot. Doesn't work like that way. Elliott wrote a script which is incredible, and again, it's going to take a while to develop and get on TV. It's called No Hopers, and it's loosely based on his life, growing up, being a dyslexic kid, being told that he's a no-hoper, basically, that you're not going to do anything, you're not going to go anywhere, that's it for you. So this is what the show's about. You're dyslexic, as you've told people, you've had those lows, those depressions and stuff, so tell them about No Hopers and stuff.
So the No Hopers is as Stephen says, it's basically loosely based on my schooling, because I ended up going to 6 schools. You know, I was that kid.
6 schools. But I reiterate it because people don't understand. There's a lot of people out there who look at you and look at me and go, my God, they don't realise that we're just freaking completely and utterly, where's the drink gone?
It's here, mate.
We're normal freaking lads from normal working class backgrounds. One went one way, one went the other. Both had passion, both ended up at the same place. 6 schools he got kicked. Did he get kicked out?
A couple of them.
There you go. Tell them. They want to know.
Asked to leave. No, basically, I started off going to just like normal state schools, and they started to realise that there was, I was misbehaving. I was being put at the back of the class. I wasn't concentrating. And I was getting in trouble. And my parents, at the time, you kind of don't realise as a kid how stressful that must be on your parents. But they're like, what do we do? Like, we want him to stay in school, and I'm going to loads of different schools. And then my parents, I don't know how they afforded to do it. They had to sell, their house, and their parents had to help, and it was, a real collaborative. At the time, as a child, it kind of goes over your head a little bit, but they all grouped together. My grandparents as well, I'm very thankful to them. They all put money in to help me go to a private school, which actually ended up backfiring because, I'd gone to normal schools my whole life, and then to be put in a private school, and it was like going from a totally different thing to this place where suddenly, you're at a state school, you're bullied for your ears, or you're bullied for, being skinny or whatever. You go to a private school, you're bullied for the car that you get picked up in.
Yeah.
It's a totally different ballgame. And it was like, and that was like even worse. I got in even more trouble. I got asked to leave the school because they couldn't help me. And, ended up, but then I went to a school in Farnham called Morehouse School. And the final school I ended up going to, and the head teacher there, Mr. Huggett.
What a name.
Yeah, Mr. Huggett. Okay. And before that, it was Miss Lovett.
Miss Lovett, Mr. Huggett.
Miss Lovett did not love it. She didn't love it. Mr. Huggett, on the other hand, and he changed. And this isn't just me saying this. Like, a lot of the people in my year as well would agree that he changed my life, and I know he changed a lot of other people's lives in that year, because he was just incredible. Like, when we were failing at maths, he went, "Okay, I'm going to teach you." So he basically took over the maths lessons. This is when we were in year 9, I think it was, and he basically was like, "I'm going to teach you," and he taught us for a whole year. And this is a headmaster that has to run the school. He has to do all these other jobs that he's got to do. But he went, "No, I'm going to teach you because I believe that you were all clever enough to do this and to succeed." So we all went from failing to passing C's and above, and this is because of this man. And he's a great man, and I don't say that lightly. We all wrote in, and he got an OBE.
Amazing. He's
a couple of years ago. So
cheers.
The school changed my life, and as much as it was a great experience, it was also, we had some mad experiences, things that would have never happened in my previous schools, and there was just too many good stories not to write it down.
Yeah, I can't wait. Honestly, guys, it's gonna be so good. You've kicked butt with that, and again, it just goes to show, guys. Like, I was written off at school. People every time I tried to do something, and I didn't have the difficulties Elliott did. Not at all. I didn't have those problems, but still, you want to be an actor. that kind of like, do not let other people's opinions of you be your life story. You go and you do. If you love it, you will do it. Thank you, Carol. Thank you. Carol's my old coach, one of my very old, great friends. She's incredible, world champion in her own right.
Oh wow,
Carol, I'll have you on the show at one point. So do not let other people's opinions be your life story. You've seen it from 2 different spectrums. Elliott's new film's coming out on the 29th of June. Habit, nationwide. Everything will be in the show notes, where you can follow Elliott, where you can continue to ask him questions. I'll have him back on the show for sure, because not only is he a great guest, he's one of my best pals. We've also got a lot of other interesting stuff coming up. But what I want to finish with is this is the final question before we wrap up.
This spanner in the works.
This is a so knowing everything that you know now. Let's say you're going back to the beginning. You are 17-year-old Elliott.
Yeah.
You don't have a clue about the industry, nothing, just about life in general.
Yeah.
What would you, knowing what you know now, tell 17-year-old Elliott? 3 things.
Do something else. No.
I've put him on the spot here now. 3 things that you would give advice to your younger self.
I think I spent a lot of my early career sitting around hoping that my agent would call me that I'd get a job.
Okay.
Change that straight away. I would work in my own time, writing scripts like I have been doing now, trying to get short films made, producing things, directing things, doing other things in that industry to work your way up to that final point that you want to be at.
So number 1 is write and create your own destiny.
Because, I mean, I didn't start doing that until after Northern Soul. I think it was in the gap.
Okay.
Where, you know, I was forced to think, right, I need to find other avenues, really. And I wish I'd done that earlier because, you know, No Hopers might have been off the ground by now. And at the moment, we're still, you know, we're having meetings and we're negotiating, trying to get it made. But, you know, maybe if I'd done it a bit earlier, it would have been there by now. So, and, like, you're always like, oh, you know, at 19, you're like, got plenty of time.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm 30 now and I'm looking at him going, yeah, but I could have done this 5, 6... maybe 10 years ago.
So just start stronger, start sooner and keep going.
Yeah, and don't ever think, oh, I've got plenty of time.
Yeah, okay.
It sounds bad, but always think, no, now, do it
Get
now.
it done.
Don't wait until tomorrow, do it now. And that's, I try and do that. I mean, we're all the same, aren't we? We try and push ourselves to do something. We're like, no, today, do it today. And we are all, you know, sometimes there's that day where you just can't be bothered and you don't want to do it, but you just got to push through.
Got to. So number 1 is start writing or creating your own destiny straight away. Number 2 is don't think that you're immortal. You're gonna get older. You know, we have a limited amount of time on this planet. So number 2 is...
I mean, look at you now, mate. When I met you, you were almost my age now.
It's true, though. It's true. I'm going to be 40 in
August, guys. When I met you, you were 28, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm older than you were then.
That's nuts. 40 is a new 20, though, guys. But so number 1 is start creating. Number 2 is keep consistent. Number 3.
This is something that I hope I've done, but I feel like having started as a crew member and done a few jobs like that, always remember, like, it sounds stupid, but I always go on sets and sometimes you see, particularly actors, you see them kind of throwing their weight around a little bit occasionally. And I think it's so important to remember who you are and not to believe your own shit. Don't
work hard, stay humble.
Yeah, exactly. And my dad and my mum always, you know, have always taught me that, you know, to see it from the crew's point of view, because, you know, they work so much harder and they're working longer hours and they're putting all the time in. And you swan in, hopefully knowing your lines half decent, and then you're there and then you bugger off and you go to your trailer for a bit. That's the stereotype. It's not actually like that. But, you know, you've got to remember that everyone else around you is doing twice the amount of hours. And to remember that and to appreciate that. Not to be... You see a lot of actors that you kind of lost their way a little bit.
Yeah, you want to give them a northern oosh, oosh. It's like that. Calm down, mate.
And have respect for the people you're working with, because they are the ones that are doing the most important job.
So let's wrap this up, brother. So we've got number 1, be creative, get the work done, no matter what. 2, be consistent with it, and number 3, show gratitude, work hard, and stay humble.
And I mean, that's coming from me. I don't know anything.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that's how I've it's taken me a long time to sort of realise that's what I should have done. But in my humble opinion, that's hopefully working for me at the moment.
Amazing. Well, dude, thanks a lot. Cheers.
I just wanted to say one thing though before we go. As well, for anyone out there that is, you know, that 98% of actors are out of work.
Yeah.
And that is it's so hard. You've just got to keep positive and you've got to keep driving forward. But a good friend of mine, Alexa Morden, she has this podcast called The 98%, and it's really good. They talk about basically that 98%. Those actors that are out of work, that are struggling, what it's like to go into an audition, and for the first time in 6 months having not had one, that pressure. And it's really funny and really clever, but it's a great little podcast.
Amazing.
But check it out. It made me laugh because it's just everything that your fears and everything when you go into an audition and you're like, you think you're the only one that they've got those insecurities. You're not. There's so many other people out there struggling to get it right and trying to hone their craft. And listen to the podcast. It's great. It really is. It's a funny insight into the industry and what we do. And you know, there's only 2% of actors that are in work at one time. So
isn't that nuts, guys?
If you're ever working, you're in that 2%.
So what I'll do, guys, is I'll put in the show notes on the YouTube channel when I upload this, I'll put the link to the podcast. So if you're interested in watching that podcast, it will be there in the show notes. Also, I've got a little thing to tell you, but I'll wait till next week. I mentioned it briefly about my first little job at the BBC, which is coming up next week. Hey! But we're going to let you go. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'm going to have Elliott back on the show in a month or so because we didn't cover half of the stuff he's done. Like, he had an MMA fight, but we can't go into that at the moment because we don't have the time. But thanks a lot for watching. We're gonna tune out now, and we're gonna have a few more of these.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Catch you on the next one. Bye bye, guys.